Hello everybody and welcome back to our Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Iowa Plains View. But before that, this video is brought to you by Mighty Mouse 05 and Andre Yokoma. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Iowa Plains View map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now this map is a pretty big download at 931 megabytes just for the map itself. But this map also has 5 required mods. So after we factor in the 5 required mods and the map, we're looking at a total download size of approximately 1 gigabyte. I'm not really sure how many slots it's going to be consuming on console, but I gotta think it's going to be a fair number. Now those required mods are Workshop, Pole Barn, Sheep Goat Barn, Horse Stable, and the AGI Grain Dryer. Now all of these are by the same author as the map itself, so I've got to wonder if the required mods are simply there to get the map size under a file size upload limit from Giants. Let me go ahead and read you some of the description. Inspired by the rolling landscapes of the U.S. state of Iowa, this map offers a customized terrain designed for gameplay and does not represent any specific real-world location or town. This is a standard size map where you have freedom to build your own farm the way you want, focus on arable farming, dive into production chains, explore forestry, or combine them all. Your journey begins on the main farm, fully equipped with pre-placed buildings, including a cow barn, chicken coop, pigsty, and a set of starter machinery to help you get going. This map includes 30 fields of various sizes, from large to small, 2 forestry areas, a biogas plant for processing silage into digestate, and it produces methane gas, a valuable resource that can be collected or sold for profit. Traffic and pedestrians enhance the map's realism. Multiple paintable terrain textures for detailed landscaping. Custom sowing calendar for soybeans and wheat are included in the seasonal growth plan. Local Case IH dealership available for purchasing, selling, and customizing machinery and equipment. Alfalfa is available on the map and can be used just like grass for mowing, baling, feeding, or silage production. Soybeans will produce straw after harvest, which can be collected and used like regular straw. 2 farms are available. The main farm, featuring a grain silo, grain dryer, hog confinement, cow barn, and starter equipment, while the second farm includes horse stable, sheep, and goat pasture that you unlock once you buy the farmland. A small creek with waterfalls and a scenic rest area, perfect for taking a break, Iowa license plates, and 10 collectible golden apples. There are several custom productions available on the map, and we're going to do a detailed rundown of those productions, so we'll just do a quick high-level scan here. We have a juice facility for making various fruit juices, pancake house, we have popcorn production, 2-step maple syrup production, we have a pizzeria, we have ketchup production, we have a cereal mill for grinding flour, as well as some other things. We've got expanded dairy production, including various types of yogurt and milk. We have greenhouse for growing all sorts of fruits and vegetables, oil mill, tailor shop, carpentry, sawmill, grain dryer, and a fermenter. This map includes multiple selling stations, including a grain sell point, Jackson Farm, a supermarket, Alma train station, propane station for purchasing propane for the grain dryer and other machinery, animal dealer, bale sell point, and the Iowa Plains Logistics Services for supplying the store where you can purchase all materials required for the construction, placeable, and production chains. Now this map does have 4 construction missions also. Let's jump back over here to the map itself and take a look at the PDA. Now you'll see that this map is composed of some decent sized fields. Some are square, rectangular shaped, and some are a bit more irregularly shaped. For example, we have field 6, which kind of follows the contour of this road. We start out by owning farmland ID 1, 2, and 8, should we choose to own the starting farm. And should we choose to not own the starting farm, well then all of the buildings here and the starting machinery are not available. In fact, there's also a second farm over here, farmland ID 38, which is kind of a buildable area. If you choose to own the farm, then this area will have some dilapidated buildings or some partially built buildings that you can sell once you do buy the land. Should you choose to not own the starting farm, well, this area is also clear of buildings, but you will need to clear it of trees and shrubbery. The secondary farm on this map at farmland ID 34 which you can buy for $373,500, is pre-existing in all game modes if you choose to own the farm or not at the start. Back here to our starting farm, Farmland ID 1 is going to be $638,700 to buy if you choose to not own the starting farm. And it's going to include Field 1, as well as all the buildings here and across the street where we have our pigs and we have our cows. We also have Farmland ID 8 and Farmland ID 2. As far as other areas of important note on this map, we have the BGA located down here south of Farmland ID 11. We have a fermenter south of the BGA, which is right here to the east of Farmland ID 43. We have, like I mentioned earlier, the second viable farm at Farmland ID 34. And we have the constructible farm, or the area where we can renovate, Farmland ID 38. And Farmland ID 33 is going to be the maple area. And there are two productions on Farmland ID 33 that are not available until we own the land, and we can buy this for $436,128. Now, with respect to the Precision Farming soil map, should you choose to play this map with Precision Farming, do note that you are going to see the generic soil map that is a part of the Precision Farming mod. Let's go ahead and see how that is being applied to the fields. With respect to our starting fields, Field 8 is going to be exclusively silty clay. Field 2 is going to be predominantly loam with a little bit of sandy loam and loamy sand. And Field 1 is going to be a nice mix of pretty much all four soil types. But you can go ahead and take a look here and see how that soil map is applied to the rest of these fields, should you choose to purchase the fields based on the soil type that they have. Now, if I hadn't already mentioned, this map does include all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 25, in addition to alfalfa, which we've already talked about. We take a look at our crop counter. Overall, we have the same crop counter that we have across all Farm Sim 25 base maps, but we do have a couple custom tweaks with respect to soybeans and wheat, as was listed in the description. In addition, we have growth schedules for alfalfa here also, so you can see we can plant alfalfa from March to November, and we can harvest year-round. With respect to animals, we do start out with chicken pasture. In fact, we have 100 chickens in that pasture at the start. We have also 40, 50, 60 cows at the start, and we have 250 pigs in our hog confinement area at the start. With respect to contracts, we do have contracts available, and they include the new custom contracts for Farm Sim 25, like wood transport, dead trees, and rock crushing. As far as productions go, there are 19 productions that are available without owning the land. There are 2 that are available with owning the land. So let me go ahead and buy Farmland ID 33, and then we can take a look at all the productions here at once. On the main starting farm, should we choose to own the farm, we're going to have access to the AGI grain dryer. The grain dryer is going to be able to dry barley, canola, corn, oat, sorghum, soybeans, sunflowers, and wheat. In order to do all that drying, we are going to need to provide the grain and propane in order to dry each of these particular crops. We also have 3 large greenhouses. They are capable of producing apples, blueberries, chili peppers, garlic, lemon, lettuce, Napa cabbage, oranges, pears, plums, pumpkins, spring onion, strawberries, and tomatoes. And they're going to require water and manure in order to produce those. Over at Farmland ID 33, as I mentioned, we have 2 additional productions. We have maple sap, which is going to require water, and it's going to produce maple sap. And then we have a second stage where we take firewood and that maple sap and produce maple syrup. As far as farmland or productions that we can buy, we have the bakery, which is able to make apple pie, blueberry pie, our various breads and cakes, as well as cornbread and pumpkin pie. We have our biogas plant, which is looking pretty standard here. We have our carpentry, also fairly standard. We have our juice company, which is able to make apple juice, blueberry, grape, lemonade, orange juice, pear juice, and plum. We have our Cedar Ridge Creamery, which is able to make blueberry yogurt, as well as all the standard creamery things, including chocolate milk, condensed milk, and cream. We have our fermenter, which is able to take alfalfa, chaff, dry alfalfa, grass, and hay and convert that over to silage and digestate. We have our Iowa Gold Press, which is going to be our oil mill. It's going to be capable of making canola, olive oil, rice, and sunflower oil. We have the Jackson Sawmill, which is going to be able to make the normal sawmill items as well as firewood. Ketchup production, which is going to require tomatoes and water. Our Pancake House is going to require fine flour, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, blueberry, and maple syrup. We have our Pizzeria for flour, ketchup, and cheese. Okay, on a pizza. We have popcorn production for buttered and non-buttered popcorn. Notice we do need to provide dried corn for that popcorn production. We have a fairly standard sugar mill and tailor shop. Our water mill is going to be our grain mill here. So we're able to make barley flour, corn flour, fine corn flour out of dried grain, fine flour from sorghum, wheat, barley, and dried oats. We're also going to be able then to produce sorghum flour as well. With respect to sell points, I counted up 7 different sell points scattered around the map for various goods, including grains, as well as various productions and products. We're going to take a rundown through our starting machinery here in a little bit, but remember, we do only have the starting machinery should we choose to own the farm at the start. With respect to collectibles, we do have those 10 golden apples scattered around. Taking a look at our starting fleet, if we take a look at our garage menu, we have the Case IH Puma 260 CVX drive medium tractor. We have the Case IH Magnum 340 CVX drive large tractor, as well as a Brantner TR 34090/2 PT Plus trailer. We have the Vatterstad NZ Extreme 1425 cultivator and the PW 112 plow. We have the Lemkin Saltar 12 seeder and the Kinsey 4905 blue drive planter. For our fertilizing, we have the Amazon ZG TS 10001 solid fertilized spreader, and then we have the Amazon UX 5201 super liquid fertilizer and herbicide sprayer. For our harvesting, we have the Case IH AxleFlow 7150 harvester. That's going to be paired up with the 28-foot Terraflex Case IH 3050 grain header. And then we also have an 8-row corn header included. And for our headers, we have the Nardi N6035 header trailer. For our grass and alfalfa needs, we have the Samez KDF 341S front mower and the KDD 941 STH trailed butterfly mower or rear butterfly mower with a Swadro TS 970 windrower and the Samez P8 890 tedder. We have the Arcusin FSX 6372 bale wagon, and then we have the Massey Ferguson 2370 Ultra HD square baler. With respect to mods and DLCs, since we do have the AGI grain dryer as part of the required mods, we have the MKS8 and MKS32 tankers, and they have been modified to accept the propane fill type. Oddly enough, under the Iowa Plains View, we also have the same 2 trailers that again have been modified to accept the propane fill type. Taking a look at our starting farm, we start out here right by our farmhouse where we have our sleep trigger. Remember, everything at all these farms can be sold, which is really great to see, including all the decoration, fencing, and such. A little bit of a carport going on here. And around the back at the deck, we have our wardrobe trigger. We have our farm workshop trigger here in the barn. And then we have a nice shed here for vehicle and implement storage. A large area where we could put additional machinery down, additional animal areas. Heck, we can even maybe make a field out of this large area. Another large machine shed located over here, right beside our grain silo. Here we have our grain silo. with our dump and fill point. And then on the other side of our grain silo, well, that's where we're going to find our grain dryer. So we're going to need to provide propane gas to here. And then we have our output for our dried grain. And we have our input. And we have our interactive icon. Here we have the 3 greenhouses. We're going to require water and manure. So our water input. We have our manure input. And then we have our interactive icon inside and our pallet spawn points. Just down the way from the greenhouses and just a little bit off to the side from our farmhouse, we do have our chicken coop. So we have our water, or not our water, our feed trough area. We can hold a total of 473 chickens in this coop. Again, we own 100 at the start, and we have our egg spawn point. We're going to have to make our way across the street now to get to the other animal areas. And while we're on our way over there, let's talk a little bit about map performance. I kind of wish this map performed a little bit better on my low-end test system. I was seeing frame rates in the low 30s, which does equate out to 60 to 65, let's say, FPS with respect to FSR if frame gen is enabled, and that is some of the recommended settings that I do have for lower end systems. And here on my recording system, I'm seeing a nice steady 60 FPS without any issues whatsoever. We've got our milk trigger here for our cows. Our feed trough on the other side of that shed. And then here we have our animal point. We have a total of 60 cows already and 374 available in this area. So here we have that food trough and our straw trigger. Some more machinery storage. You're going to find our grass and hay machinery, and it's going to be in here. Another large area here for additional areas to be placed, buildings, possible additional animal pastures. We have our very large pig confinement facility. And again, this one's going to have 250 pigs at the start with a total of 1,600 possible inside. Our food trough is going to be located over here off to the left. Off to the right, we do have a pull-through silage bunker. We have our slurry output around the back. And of course, we would have to put down our own manure heap if we wish to collect manure from our cows or our pigs. But here we have the starting farm. And you can see that large area here between the pigs and the cows, as well as the large area here between our farm silo and our sheds that could be used in other ways with additional buildings, additional animal areas, etc. Let's go ahead and take a look at our build mode, because we do have a fair number of things that are custom either with this map or part of the required mods. We have several sheds that we can use. They're again either a part of the map or a part of the required mods. Several silos, including the custom silo that is going to hold 16 million liters. With respect to productions, we do have the ability to put down our fermenter, and we have some of our other custom productions here that we can place. Selling points, we're going to be able to place down a selling station for dried grain and other products that are associated with that, should we wish to do that. We have our custom greenhouse that includes all of the new products available in these 3 greenhouses. We also have the map animal pastures that we can put down. So it's always good to see that we have this capability, including we do have some pig pastures and other animal areas that aren't necessarily already pre-placed. So a bit of freedom there to expand. And then with respect to ground textures, I was expecting a bit more ground textures based on the description, but we have fairly standard FS25 ground textures, fairly standard trees, and fairly standard plants. Now, if we make our way across the map to the north, I wanted to point out the buildable site that we can sell the buildings from, and then kind of clear the trees and the shrubbery, do a little landscaping, and we'll have a nice farm here where we could do additional farm building. Again, all of this stuff can be sold. If we make our way south, we'll follow this road. Of course, we have our town we'll come back to. And then just past this bend in the road, we're going to find the second pre-placed farm that's going to be associated with horses and sheep or goats. So our farmhouse tucked up here with our sleep and wardrobe triggers. Very nice machine shed. I'll have to go inside the people door first, and then activate the doors from inside. We have a workshop trigger. Some more machine storage. And then we have our sheep and goats. So we have our food trough for our sheep and goats. We have our trigger to buy or deliver additional sheep and goats. There's 100 sheep here at the start when you buy this farmland. And we're going to have a total of 173 or 74 sheep available to hold here. Now, I was thinking that the milk and wool was going to spawn in this general vicinity, but I don't see the indicators marking that out. We then have our horse area. We're going to be hold a total of 16 horses, of which we have 4 at the start. And I will admit, I thought I had seen the food trough for these guys when I was taking a look at the map earlier. But now, well, I kind of got to wonder where it is. Pull up our triggers, just see if we have anything pop up here. Ah, we do. And I missed it completely. You may be surprised, but sometimes these little green icons, they just do not show up very well for me. But here we have our food trough, our food area for the horses. Now, another point of interest on this map that I didn't talk to yet is that we have 4 buildable areas all over here at this single farmland ID 36. And I haven't bought this yet because, well, the triggers don't really pop until you buy, or at least most of them don't pop up. If you walk here, you'll notice that we do get a little pop-up about what's needed for the grain elevator museum. If we walk over here to our farmhouse, we don't get that same pop-up. But if we walk over here to one of these small sheds, we once again don't see the icon, we don't see the marker, but we do have the pop-up. Let me go ahead and buy farmland ID 36. And once we do that, we'll see everything pop up as we might expect. And now that we own farmland ID 36, right, we have our floaty icon there. We have one off in the distance for our other small shed. We have our floaty icon for our farmhouse, and it's going to pop up this time. And then we have the icon for the grain mill. Now, this map did specify the items that were going to be needed for all 4 of these constructibles. I don't recall off the top of my head if these are different from the base game or not, but I will tell you what is listed in the map itself. For the farmhouse, we're going to require 11,500 units of wooden beams, 14,500 units of planks, 3,500 units, or should I say 14,500 units of long planks, 3,500 units of planks, 8,500 units of cement bags, 4,500 units of prefab walls, and 6,500 units worth of furniture. For our grain museum, we're going to require 36,000 units of wooden beams, 48,000 units of planks, 72,000 units of long planks, 12,000 roof plates, 12,000 prefab walls, 6,000 bags of cement, and 6,000 cement blocks. Then we have 2 small sheds, and overall they're going to require very similar requirements, but one is slightly larger than the other. This is going to be the smaller shed, so it's going to require 2,000 wooden beams, 4,000 units of long planks, 1,000 units of planks, and 2,000 units of cement bags. The larger shed is going to require all of those same things, but it's going to require 5,000 units of long planks. So we're going to find that here on the PDA, once again at farmland ID 36, and it's to the south of the main starting farm. We've got these 4 fields that all kind of come to a point with this curve in the road, and that again is where we're going to find farmland ID 36. So in theory, you could buy this and make this kind of your little farm area, and as a byproduct, you'd have this really cool grain museum elevator as part of your farmland. We have our main starting farm located up there to the north. And if we make our way down this road, we're going to have a little spur here. And this is going to be a sell point. This is going to be the Jackson Farm sell point. A really cool little quaint area. We have our grain dump point. Continuing south along this road. I have to say, I really do like this map. It's got a really nice feel to it. Rolling hills, nothing too extreme. A nice mix of small, medium, and large size fields. We have our biogas plant to the left and our fermenter to the right. To the left, our BGA. We're going to have 2 3-sided large silage bunkers. These really cannot be sold. If we do sell them, the bunkers will go away, but the block walls around the bunker, they're going to remain. So practically, they're really not sellable. The BGA itself is also not sellable, even if you own it. So here we have our 2 dump points. We have our fill point for our digestate, and we have our dump point for our slurry. With respect to the fermenter, we're going to be able to produce digestate and silage. We have our output for our silage. We have our output for our slurry, or digestate, sorry, and our dump point for our inputs. There we have our interactive icon. We do have a train sell point on this map, and that's obviously going to be at the boundary of the map itself, but our train transfer silo is going to be located right here. So here we have the ability to pull products onto the train. We have our rank train icon there, and we have our dump point to put things into the train silo and take them out should we just use the silo as storage. Also down here at this location, we're going to have the grain sell point located directly in front of us. And then in behind the transfer silo is going to be our animal dealer. Here we have the train coming right now. And to be honest, I don't remember the train from Riverbend Springs to remember is that a custom livery on the train or not. We have our bale sell point, and then we're going to have our animal dealer buy point right there. Continuing up the bend in the road, we have our horse, sheep, and goat farm. We've got a really cool parking lot here. And if we take this windy path over to a little bit of a playground area and a sitting area here where we can just kind of sit and admire the nice waterfall. We also have a nice observation tower that we can hang out at. And then we have our carpentry and our sawmill production at Farmland ID 40. While we don't have to own the farmland, we do have the ability of basically buying the entirety of the map. So pretty much all of the farmlands can be bought, and we can even buy the farmland here with respect to the town, and we can buy the farmland here with respect to the Jackson farm. So we have our sawmill, where we have our pallet spawn points. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point for our wood. We have our carpentry, where we're going to have our interactive icon, our pallet spawn point, and our dump point for our logs or planks. Got a little bit of a forest here in behind the sawmill. Continue to find our way through this stream. We're going to come to our flour mill. So we have our dump point for our inputs, we have our pallet point for our outputs, and our interactive icon here at this really cool mill. We make our way now to the north. We're going to come to our town, and we've got quite an industrial town here. The rest of our productions are going to basically be here, other than the two that are associated with the Viable Farmland 33, which is going to be the two maples. We have the bakery, we have a tailor shop, and the pizzeria on our left. And then on our right, we're going to find the creamery, the pancake house, the popcorn production, the juice factory, the sugar mill, the ketchup production, and the Iowa Gold Press. All right, so all of that is here along this row. It's a really well done map. There we have our pizzeria, our high school. Where's the athletic fields? That's what I'm wondering. Then we have more productions here along the side. Right, we've already talked about. We have a sell point here at the supermarket. Directly below, we have our vehicle dealership, where we have our buy trigger. Very nice area here for new vehicles to spawn, and we've got a nice sized way of getting our vehicles out of the dealership, both in front and in behind. We have our dealer trigger located here for servicing, repainting, and selling. Here we have our logistics market, where we can sell products, but we can also buy the various products that we might need for those construction projects. All of your refueling needs are going to be available here at the fuel stop. And in fact, this is also where you're going to come and buy your propane. Now, hiring. I'm a little surprised that the diner isn't actually a sell point, given the amount of consumable goods that we can make. You'd think the diner would buy the pies, the fruit juices, the dairy products, the things that we can sell or make at our greenhouses, etc. But alas, it doesn't appear to be a sell point at all. And then now to the northwest, we again have this area where we could clear this out and make a third farm, should we wish. And then we have our maple area for our maple sap. We're going to have our dump point for our water here. And then we're going to have our interactive icon and in our pallet spawn point for our maple sap. We're going to have then the ability to further process our maple sap into maple syrup by bringing the sap and firewood here. We're going to get our pallets here, and we're going to come around the back to do the interactive icon thing. So guys, that is it. That is Iowa Plains View. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this particular map. Is it going to be your next gameplay? I really like this map, and if I hadn't just started on Hofbergman again, I would seriously consider starting this map myself for my live stream series. I think it's got a really nice map, got lots of production options, lots of field options, and a couple nice farm options as well. I think it would be a pretty neat map for a small multiplayer group where you can have 2 or 3 multiplayer farms built out, and there's plenty of large fields so you can do your cooperative farming as well. Until next time, happy farming.